Tunde was tired, so tired that his legs felt like they were made of wood. The sun had gone down and the sky was turning dark. He hadn't eaten anything in 3 whole days, not even a piece of bread. His stomach made loud noises and his head felt heavy. He had walked all day from one place to another, hoping someone would give him food or work. But no one did. People still remembered the time he stole money from his grandmother. Even though he said sorry and gave it back, they didn't trust him anymore. He sat on a rock near the road and wiped the sweat from his face. He was weak, and his eyes were starting to blur. That was when he saw it. Right there, in the middle of the crossroads, was a big wooden bowl sitting on some clean banana leaves. Inside the bowl was steaming jollof rice, sweet ripe plantains, and soft, juicy chicken. It smelled amazing. Tunde looked around. There was no one in sight. No people. No animals. No sound at all. But the food was hot, like someone just brought it there. Suddenly, he remembered something his uncle once told him. "Never eat food you find at the crossroads," he had said. "That's how spirits test people. And if you fail, they don't forgive." Tunde was scared, but he was also so hungry he felt like he might faint. "Please, God," he whispered, "I don't want to die of hunger." He sat down and picked up the food with his hands. Just a little, he told himself, just a few bites. But the food tasted so good, so sweet, better than anything he had ever eaten. And then he heard a voice behind him, software slow, like dry leaves moving on the ground. "Is it sweet?" Tunde froze. His hand stopped halfway to his mouth. The piece of chicken he was about to eat slipped from his fingers and fell into the calabash. He turned his head slowly. Nobody. The road was still empty. The trees stood still. The wind didn't even blow. But he had heard it, clear and cold. Someone had spoken. "Is it sweet?" the voice had asked. He stood up quickly, wiping his hands on his shirt. His heart was beating fast, like a drum in a festival. He looked behind the trees, then across the road. Still, no one. "Who said that?" he called out, trying to sound brave. No answer. He picked up his small bag and started walking quickly, faster than he ever had. The food didn't taste sweet anymore. His stomach felt strange, like something was crawling inside it. After a few minutes, he reached the small village square. A fire was burning in front of the palm wine seller's hut, but no one was sitting around it. The village felt quiet. Too quiet. "Tunde?" He turned. It was old Mama Udo, the herbalist. Her eyes were sharp, and she held a bunch of leaves in her hand. "You passed the crossroads," she said. "Did you see anything there?" Tunde's lips trembled. He didn't know whether to lie or tell the truth. I saw food," he whispered. Her face changed. She looked at him the way people look at graves. "And did you eat it?" she asked, her voice low. He couldn't speak. She didn't wait. She turned around quickly and said, "Go home. If you can sleep tonight, thank your stars." Tunde stood there scared and confused. What did she mean? Why was everyone acting like food at the crossroads was a curse? That night, Tunde did go home. He lay down, closed his eyes, and that's when the whispering started again. Only this time, it was inside his head. At first, it sounded like wind, soft and far away, like someone talking from inside a deep well. But then, the whispers got louder, closer, clearer. "Tunde! Tunde! You ate what wasn't yours." He opened his eyes and sat up quickly, sweating. The room was dark, but not quiet. The whispering was still there, moving around the walls, bouncing off the windows, curling under the door like smoke. He covered his ears. Still, the voices came. "You were warned. Now you must give back what you took." "Give back what?" he cried. "I was hungry. I didn't know it belonged to anyone." But the whispers only laughed. It was not a happy laugh. It was the kind that made his skin crawl. He jumped from his mat and ran outside. The night air was cool, but he couldn't feel it. He just kept running. Past Mama Udo's hut, past the sleeping goats, into the bushes near the old palm tree where he used to play as a child. He sat on the ground, holding his head, rocking back and forth like someone trying to wake from a nightmare. Then he saw something. A small light, floating just a little above the ground. It moved slowly, left, right, like it was searching for something. Then it stopped, right in front of him, and the whispering came again, louder now, all around him. "You must give back what you took." Tunde was shaking. "I don't have it anymore," he said. "I ate it." The light blinked once, twice, then it vanished. And in the silence that followed, Tunde knew this was just the beginning. The next morning, Tunde's eyes opened slowly. He was lying in his mother's compound near the cooking hut. His body felt heavy, and his clothes were wet with dew. Had he slept outside all night? He tried to remember. The whispers, the floating light, the way the air had turned cold without the wind blowing. It felt like a dream, but his heart said it wasn't. He stood up slowly. The village was waking up. Roosters crowed. Children fetched water. Smoke rose from clay stoves as mothers prepared breakfast. Everything looked normal, but inside him, nothing felt normal. As he entered the house, his younger sister, Amina, looked at him and frowned. "You didn't sleep here," she said. Mama was worried. Before he could answer, their mother came from behind the curtain. "Tunde, come," she said sharply. "We need to talk." He followed her to the back of the house, where the cassava was drying. "Mama Udo came this morning," she said. "She said you did something foolish." Tunde looked down. "I didn't mean to," he said softly. "I was hungry." His mother's eyes softened just a little, but her face stayed serious. "There are rules in this land," she said. "Some food is not for the living. If you take what is not yours, especially from the spirits, there is always a price." "What kind of price?" Tunde asked. "They didn't even show themselves. I didn't see anybody." His mother sighed. "That's the problem. Spirits don't argue. They collect, in their own time." Later that day, Tunde walked to the river to clear his head. He sat on a rock and threw stones into the water. Then he heard someone singing. A little girl, standing at the edge of the bush. Her dress was white. Her eyes were red. "Tunde," she said, still smiling. "They're waiting for you." Then she vanished, just like that. And in the distance, the whispering returned. Tunde didn't move. His heart was thumping so hard, he could hear it in his ears. The little girl was gone, but the sound of her voice stayed. "They're waiting for you." Who was they? Why were they calling him? And why did her eyes look like fire? He walked home slowly, looking over his shoulder again and again. Every small sound, rustling leaves, snapping twigs, a bird flapping its wings, made him jump. When he reached the compound, he found Mama Udo sitting on a small stool, grinding herbs into a clay bowl. She looked up, as if she'd been expecting him. "You saw her," she said. Tunde nodded. "A girl by the river. She called my name." Mama Udo didn't look surprised. "She's not a girl. She's a sign. When the spirits want to warn you, they send a messenger first. If you don't listen—" She stopped grinding. "What happens?" Tunde asked. "They take something," she said. "Something you can't get back." Tunde's knees felt weak. How do I fix it? Mama Udo looked at him carefully. It depends. Sometimes they want a gift, sometimes a sacrifice, sometimes they just want your peace. She stood up and handed him a small bottle of oil. Rub this on your forehead tonight. Do not speak to anyone after the sun goes down. And if you hear them calling your name, don't answer. That night, Tunde stayed inside. He didn't eat. He didn't talk. He didn't even greet his sister when she came to say goodnight. He rubbed the oil on his forehead, just like Mama Udo said. Then he lay down on his mat and waited. And just after midnight, the voices returned. Only this time, they weren't whispering. They were chanting. The voices didn't sound human anymore. They were deep and rough, like old wood scraping stone. They repeated his name again and again, slowly, as if tasting it. Tunde, Tunde. Tunde pressed his hands over his ears. It didn't help. The sound wasn't just in the air. It was in his bones. His room felt colder than before. The moonlight coming through the window seemed thinner, weaker. The shadows in the corners of the room looked like they were breathing. Then, something moved. Not outside. Inside the room. A figure, tall and thin, wearing no clothes, no face, just darkness, shaped like a man. Tunde's eyes widened, his lips trembled. He remembered Mama Udo's words. Don't speak. No matter what you see, don't speak. The figure walked slowly toward him. It didn't touch the ground. Its feet floated just above the floor. It stopped at the edge of his mat and tilted its head, as if studying him. Then it spoke, not with its mouth, but inside his mind. You took what was not given. You must give back. Tunde wanted to shout, to run, to cry, but he kept quiet. The figure stretched out its long hand. Give it back. He didn't know what to do. There was no more food to return. He had eaten it all. Then he remembered something else Mama Udo said. If you can't return the thing, offer something else. Something that costs you. Tunde reached under his mat and pulled out his most valuable item, a small carved necklace his grandmother gave him before she died. It was the only thing he had never sold, even during the hardest times. He held it out with shaking hands. The figure didn't take it. It only looked, then slowly stepped back. The room grew quiet. The cold left, and the figure disappeared. But as Tunde tried to breathe in relief, he heard a soft voice behind him. That was only one. Morning came, but it didn't feel like morning. The sun rose, yes, but it cast a strange pale light over the village. Like the day itself was afraid to be too bright. Birds didn't sing. The goats didn't bleat. Even the trees didn't sway. Tunde hadn't slept. He sat on the floor, staring at the necklace he had offered the spirit. It now looked different. Darker. Heavier. As if it had soaked up something invisible. Something wrong. He walked out of the house slowly, expecting to see people laughing, children playing. But instead, the village was gathered around Mama Udo's hut. Someone had fainted. It was Iya Basira, the market woman who had always chased him away. She lay on the ground, her eyes wide open, her mouth whispering something no one could understand. She saw something in her dream, a man said. She said it had no face. It kept asking for food. Tunde's heart sank. Was this connected to him? Could a single bite bring pain to others? Mama Udo noticed him. She walked over, quiet and calm. They're not finished with you, she said. Last night was a test, but they want more. More what? Tunde asked, his voice shaking. A lesson, she replied. For you, and for others who forget that the spirit world watches too. She reached into her wrapper and pulled out a chalk-white stone. Take this to the crossroads. Kneel. apologize, then wait. Tunde's legs felt like jelly as he walked back to the place where it all began. The calabash was gone now. Only dried leaves remained. He knelt, placed the stone in the middle, bowed his head. "I'm sorry," he said. "I was hungry, but I know now. I shouldn't have taken what wasn't mine." The wind stopped. Then the earth rumbled, and the ground beneath him cracked open. Tunde tried to jump back, but his legs didn't move in time. The earth beneath his knees split with a sharp, loud crack, like dry firewood breaking in half. A red light glowed from deep inside the crack, and hot air rushed upward, stinging his eyes. He stumbled, landed on his side, and crawled backward in panic. The stone Mama Udo gave him rolled into the crack and disappeared into the light. Then everything stopped. No wind, no birds, no sound. The ground closed again, just like that. No trace of the crack, no burn marks, nothing. Tunde sat there, heart pounding, staring at the place where the earth had opened. He didn't understand what had just happened, but deep inside, he knew. Something had been taken. And something had also been watching. Suddenly, behind him, someone clapped. Once, slow and loud. He turned around quickly. It was an old man in tattered clothes, sitting on a log that hadn't been there before. His eyes were yellow, his beard long and gray, and his smile cold. "You've given the stone," the old man said, "but have you learned?" Tunde stared at him, confused. "Who are you?" "I am nobody," the man said. "Or everybody. It depends on who's hungry." He stood and walked closer. His feet didn't make a sound. "Some spirits are greedy," he said, "but some are teachers. You were lucky." "Was it over?" Tunde asked. The man smiled wider. "Almost." Then he handed Tunde a small bowl. Inside was water, clear and still. "Drink," he said. "If your heart is clean, you'll wake up tomorrow. If it's not, you'll know." Tunde looked at the bowl, his hands shaking. He didn't want to drink, but he also knew he had no choice. He brought it to his lips and closed his eyes. The water tasted like nothing, and everything. Then the world went dark. Tunde woke up to the sound of chickens clucking. Real, noisy chickens. The sun was shining through the cracks in the wall. His mat was under him. His room smelled like wood smoke and palm oil. He sat up slowly. He was back in his house. No red light, no whispers, no floating people with no faces. Just home. He touched his chest. His heart was still beating. He stood, walked to the doorway, and saw his sister Amina chasing a goat with a stick. His mother was pounding yam. Everything looked normal. Had it all been a dream? Then he saw it. On the stool by the wall sat the small calabash bowl from the night before. The same one the old man had given him. Still clean, still empty. But this time, something had been carved on the side. Hunger is loud, but wisdom listens. He stared at the words, his throat tightening. He walked through the village quietly. People greeted him. Some smiled. Some looked confused, like they expected him to still be troubled. But he wasn't. Not anymore. At Mama Udo's hut, the old woman smiled before he even said a word. "You passed," she said. "Barely." He laughed softly. "What happens now?" "You live," she replied, "and you teach." So that's what he did. From that day on, Tunde became the one who told the children, "Never eat food left at a crossroads. Not all gifts are meant for you. Some are traps, some are tests, and some are reminders." And when they asked how he knew, he would smile, rub his chest, and say, "Because I was once very hungry, and I listened too late." If this tale stirred something in you, don't scroll past it. Like, share, and subscribe, because the next story might find you at a crossroads too.